a Strudel Brothers production. And welcome back to Ohio Tabletop Gamers. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. I am going to be giving my thoughts on the Jackals as an army and how I like to run them and why. I know that I usually go through each unit and give you my thoughts on each one, but given that we are now in July and the updated rules are coming out in just a few months, that a lot of these thoughts might change given new rules to each one of these units and factions, and the core rules are changing. So a lot of this might just be dated within just a few months given the different changes that might happen. So instead, I'm going to give you my thoughts on the Jackals as a whole, how I like to run them, and why. So without any further, let's go ahead and get started. So first off, with my Jackals, I like to run 100% melee focused army with the Jackals. Now I know a lot of people can argue about, shooting, but when I see the army and I see the rules and the weapons, I think melee is the main focus of this faction. And the way I have set it up, I have 0 shooting within this army that I play. Now, the other thing that I don't have usually is I'm not going to run any heroes in this army either. Now, I get it. You have a precision fighter aura. You have a shrouding aura. You can give them a scrapper boost. So these are all good things that a hero can give a unit. And there's nothing wrong with that. The main reason why I don't run heroes is because I want the points to put as much melee as possible. And the precision fighter is decent. And it is helpful. And the shrouding has its uses also, limiting people shooting at you to 6 inches. You can also, if you go with the minor hero, you can go and give them a scout aura. And then, of course, a scrapper boost, is decent. So, what the scrapper boost is when the your enemy has to reroll 5s and 6s when blocking hits. Instead of under scrapper, it's just your enemy has to reroll 6s to block. So these are all decent. So don't get me wrong, if you like running the heroes in there, that's perfectly fine and acceptable, obviously, and it works really well. I just want more units on the field. I want to maximize my activations. So every little point that I can grab can go to my regular melee units. And that's mainly the reason why I don't. So anyway, no shooting. And as of right now, very limited, usually no heroes in the faction. Now, the reason why I think that they push melee a lot heavier than shooting is, it's pretty obvious if you read the rules and you look at the different weapons and the different units and what they can and can't do. The shooting is very subpar. And when you're going up against an enemy that has good shooting, you're going to lose pretty much every single time, in my opinion. I really like the melee options because you can really surprise your opponent, especially if you're going up against an opponent who has a lot of shooting. So that's just to start with. I just wanted to get that out there. I have all melee and very, very limited use of any heroes. A lot of times I won't even put a hero in the list at all. And I have a lot of success running them this way. Sometimes it bites you. It does. This is one of those, you've got to be extremely aggressive. And you cannot really hold back. And if you do, you'll pay for it. Even me, I've held back a few times in different games just Because, and I paid for it, knowing full well that with this type of list, you have to just go all out. It's win everything or nothing at all with this type of list, and I love it. So let's go ahead and get started with the first unit that I have chosen. So the first unit that I like to take, of course, are the Stalkers. Here in the picture, I just put 5 out there for you to see. But it is usually, I'll usually run them in a unit of 10. They are quality 5, defense 5, but they have melee evasion, so enemies get -1 to hit in melee when attacking units, when these units are attacked. They have furious, so an unmodified results a 6 to hit in melee, they get an extra hit. Of course, they have strider, so they can ignore difficult terrain, and of course the army-wide rule of scrapper. So your enemies are going to re-roll any 6s to block. Now, I normally run them base with just, out of a unit of 10, you're going to get 20 close combat weapons. So it's just 1 attack, no AP, nothing special, nothing great on them. These are basically my chaff units that, oddly enough, get overlooked a lot. People just seem to ignore them. These guys actually score a lot of my objectives because they're being ignored so much. And the strider on these guys really help. So I like to run them base just like that. The way I have them set up is 140 points for 10 stalkers. And you can run 1, 2, 3 of these units. They actually do very well for not having a whole lot of great abilities to them. The Furious does help. The melee evasion helps. The Strider is excellent with these guys getting onto objectives. And of course, the army-wide rule of Scrapper is always decent. So, yep, those are my Stalkers. And so for my next unit that I'll put on the field here is a unit of 5 Vultures. Usually I'll run 2 units of 5. I like them because they're quality 4, defense 4. They have ambush, which is always good with these guys. They have crossing attack. I have yet to successfully really use crossing attack. I've tried it, but yeah, it wasn't very successful. So I'm not really too keen on that anyway, but they do have it. Of course, they're flying, so they ignore terrain effects and basically other units when they're moving. And of course the army-wide rule of Scrapper. And excuse me. So I arm these guys with explosive spears. I like the 2 attacks for each one at AP2. So you're ambushing in, you get a charge in, and then you're getting 10 attacks at AP2 hitting on 4s. This is very decent. Like I said, I usually run them 2 units, but a unit of 5 set up the way I have is 160 points. That's very, there's a lot of value to that. An ambush unit that's got 10 attacks on 4s at AP2. Now, you could argue that putting a hero in there, giving them the precision fighter is, will help them hit on 3s or whatever, but I like them just the way they are. They actually work really well even without a hero in there. But these guys are really good at singling out targets. Maybe around an objective in turn 2 or 3. I could drop both of them in just to take out one target or separate them out, spread them out on the wings. I mean, there's infinite possibilities with these guys. The Vultures are very good in these explosive spears with their AP2 attacks are excellent. So if you do play Jackals and and you overlook the Vultures, they actually are really good with that explosive spear. So that is my next units that I will always take when I play the Jackals. Now we get to my absolute favorite Jackals unit, the Hounds. I run them in units of 10. I usually max out as much as I can with these guys. So I'll run 3 units in a 2,000 point game. of these guys, I want to run as many hounds as I possibly can, because these guys are absolutely awesome. Now, they are only quality 5 and defense 5. They have Strider on them. They have Scrapper. Of course, the Army-wide rule. They have Furious. And they have Scout. So, and then I arm them with just the 10 claws, the 2 attacks, no AP. And I always give them the Hunter breed. That gives them the Furious. And the Territorial Beast. That's what gives them the Scout. Now, what I like about these is that a unit of 10 hounds draws a lot of attention. They get shot at constantly. And if they can get into melee, and they do, they're not terrible. They're not terrible. 2 attacks, no AP, I get that. But with the Furious, it really helps. And now I know that you can put other stuff with them, but this is the way I like to run them. So a unit of 10 runs you 140 points. Very, very good. 140 points for 10 hounds with all of this is excellent. They are really good for whatever use you want them for. Screening, being just chaff units, going for objectives, or how I like to use them. I like to use them on Scout and then go straight at my opponent and soak up every bit of their fire as I possibly can for the units that are coming behind them. A lot of times the hounds do make it into melee, and it's not terrible. It's not terrible, but that's not what they're for. They're mainly to screen out for your other units behind them, and it works. So right now, every single time I've put them on the field, it does work. I don't know what kind of play style that you have, but if you're playing super aggressive, the hounds are absolutely excellent, and I love running as many as I possibly can. So those are the hounds. And following the hounds up, I like to run Beast Riders. Now, depending on how I'm putting the faction together, I'll run 2 or 3 units of these guys, and I usually don't double them up. I leave them in their units of 3. So they're quality 5, defense 4. They're each tough 3. They have bounding, which means that you get a D3 plus 1, basically a move before you move. So that really helps them get up the field a lot faster. They have impact 2. They have Strider. And, of course, the Army-wide rule of Scrapper. And what I like to arm them with, are harpoons. Now, I like the hunting hooks, stuff like that, but I think the harpoons are excellent because the harpoons give you 2 attacks with thrust. Now, with thrust is when charging, you get a +1 to hit and a +1 in your AP. So as long as I'm charging into somebody, I'm getting 2 attacks at AP 1, hitting on 4s. Now, a unit of 3 is 170 points set up this way. That's excellent points for what you're getting. And I really like the harpoons because of the thrust. I'm getting that +1 to hit and a +1 AP as long as I'm charging. Now, obviously, if you're getting charged yourself, you're not going to get that. But make sure you're the one charging. I really like these guys. They're a great second wave in behind the hounds and your scrappers. So these guys do really good. I haven't really had any bad experiences using these guys. They will do what you want them to do. And especially if you're going up against vehicles, because these guys will definitely rout the vehicles. Now, I do know that in the September update, more than likely, even though nothing's concrete yet, but more than likely the vehicles are now going to get attacks. So the old way of just making sure that you can get in there and hit a vehicle, and as long as you can get a wound or 2, you can cause a morale check, that might not work anymore. But these guys can still do you well with the AP1 charging in to get a couple wounds off of a tank. And they are defense 4, and they're tough 3. So you probably could win the melees with the new system that's coming out. I don't know how that's going to look until September or so. So anyway, yeah, I am very aware of the new vehicle rules, but these guys right now, and maybe even after September, are very good at taking vehicles out. So if you don't run them like that, maybe you should give it a shot, because they always, at least get a couple wounds on a vehicle and cause a morale check, at least for right now before the rules change. So anyway, yeah, I love the Beast Riders. Always run several units of them. Like I said, for a unit of 3 set up this way, it's 170 points, so it won't break your bank. And you can have many more points for more toys. So we're going to get to that next. And finally, rounding it all off, I usually run 2, sometimes 3, Great Beasts. Now these, to me, are better than tanks or anything else. I love them. Now, don't be fooled. Yes, there is a gunner on top of the Great Beast. That's just for show. I don't actually run a gunner on my Great Beast. When I was building the model, I noticed that there's a hole there for the gun to sit in, and I just didn't feel like plugging the hole, and I thought it'd be cool. Just put the gunner on top, but technically there is no gun on any of my Great Beasts. But anyway, so the Great Beast comes in at 380 points the way I have it set up. It's a quality 4, defense 2, tough 12. So basically like a tank. It also has bounding, so you get a D3 plus 1 move before you move, technically. It has fear 2. It has strider. Of course, like I said before, it is a tough 12. It has the army-wide rule of scrapper, so your opponent is going to be re-rolling 6s when they block your attacks. Now, the way I have it set up with a fearsome roar, which gives it a morale debuff. So once per activation, before attacking, pick one enemy unit within 18 inches in line of sight, which gets a -1 to their morale test rolls the next time it would apply. I like to put the morale debuff on the unit that I'm charging into, because if they have to take that morale check, they're going to be taking it at -1 of their quality. So that helps a lot getting people to rout. So anyway, that's a real good one. And then I also like Brutal Charge. And the Brutal Charge, of course, gives me an impact of 6, which is excellent, because as soon as you hit your target, it's an impact 6. That's just starting off with impact 6. That's awesome. So then I like to arm it with the Massive Jaws. So it gets 6 attacks at AP 4. 6 attacks at AP 4 hitting on 4s is very good. And then to round it all off, you get Stomp. 4 attacks at AP 1. So you're getting 6 attacks on your impact, basically. You're getting 6 more attacks at AP 4 from your Jaws. And then you're getting 4 attacks at AP 1 from your Stomp. These guys are absolutely maniacs on the field. They are just beasts. I love it. I usually run at bare minimum 2. Sometimes I'll run 3 of these guys behind everything. So you've got your stalkers, going on the wings or wherever. You got your hounds going up and getting into the enemy's face. Behind them, you have your beast riders, and behind them, you have your great beasts. And everybody, if they're not charging, they are rushing. That's why I said it's extremely aggressive. There's no hide behind here or maybe move up here a little bit. No, everybody goes forward at a rush. Rush or charge, every single one of them. And with the bounding, it really helps get your beast riders and your great beasts up as quick as possible. Get into that melee and wreck your opponent as much as you possibly can. To me, that's how I see the Jackals. And I really like the great beasts. It does excellent for me. So the Jackals were kind of an army I put together because nobody really played them. Everybody thought they were trash or junk, at least in our area, in our group. And I just had to see if I could make it work. When I read through the rules, I determined that I just want 100% melee because I think that I can do well without having to shoot at all. And for the most part, it worked really well. Sometimes it gets you in the, smacks you right in the head. But I think that's the fun about playing the Jackals this way. Is that you either are going to win or you're going to lose badly. It's one of those, either or. There's no middle ground with these guys because you have to, if you're going to run them this way, you have to be so aggressive with them that you can make mistakes. And those even small mistakes are going to ruin your game if you're trying to win, because you have to go. You just have to. If you sit back, you're going to get shot. They don't have great defense, so just go. And so you open up the door for a lot of misreads of your opponent. You open up the door for a lot of mistakes on your part. You should have went there instead of here, whatever. I should have charged this guy instead of that guy. It's trial and error, but the aggressiveness of this style with the Jackals is so fun. If you're an aggressive player, I'm not going to guarantee you're going to win because, like I said, it's either you do or you lose miserably. But it's so fun to play the Jackals 100% melee. You don't worry about anything except for you bound and you rush. Or you rush up. A lot of your units are going to have striders, so you can go right through terrain. Difficult terrain. It's so friggin' fun to play the Jackals 100% melee. Like I said, if you are an aggressive type player, try this. I think you're going to have a great time. Now, yeah, I don't know if I would run them like this, or even run the Jackals at all in a tournament setting where you're trying to, win X amount of games so you can get the prize. This is more like I'm going to have a lot of fun playing against a friend or whoever, and I'm just going to go right at you. It shocks so many people when they're not used to that type of aggression from a opponent. Because you're just not stopping. You're just going right at them. It's so much fun. Excuse me. Allergies are getting me. So anyway, that's my Jackal army. It's a lot of fun to play. I don't know if I would play it competitively like this. I guess, if a tournament ever comes up and I want to go, just maybe, I'll just throw these in there and just see if we can actually be competitive with this type of list. But I will guarantee you'll have a great time playing it, regardless, because it is so fun. You really don't even have to think about much. You just go forward. Just go forward. Get them. It's so fun to play it this way. Anyway, I just wanted to share that with you. Again, I was going to do a unit reviews again, but then, of course, beta has closed. And I realized that here in just a few months, we're going to have all new rules, for every faction, and new core rules. They do have a limit now coming up, possibly, with the core rules about how many models you can have in a army. So I think it comes out to, in a 2,000 point game, you're only allowed 100 models. 100 models for a 2,000 point game. And then if you do a 3,000 point game, it's 150 model limit. Now, you don't have to do this, I guess, if you're just playing with friends and whatnot. But, that's going to be in the core rules. At least that was what the beta said. Now, whether that stays or not, I do not know. But we'll see. So running a big horde army, the way I'm doing, I'm just throwing all kinds of hounds and models in there. I'd have to start paying more attention to how many models I actually have in each of my games. So who knows? My list may have to change or get modified a bit. I do have a long neck Titan for the Jackals, and you will be seeing that in some of our Titan Fight Club as we start doing more Titans and, you know, playing these 4,000 point games. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So you will see the long neck. I do not have the Mastodon, but I really, really want it. And eventually I will have the Mastodon, and it's going to take me forever to paint. But as soon as I have it, I will put it in our Titan Fight Club for you guys. I just have to get it, and then I got to print it and paint that monstrosity. But it is really cool looking, very, very costly in points. But for right now, yeah, I'll be bringing out the long neck in some of our Titan Fight Clubs. So hopefully you'll catch those videos, and hopefully you'll enjoy our Titan Fight Club as we go throughout the year. So anyway, yeah, that's pretty much it. I just decided that it was just getting too close to September to really do unit reviews, because if you're watching the unit reviews and like, hey, that's a good idea, or hey, I never thought of that, and then the rules change, and then you're like, well, you know, what are you supposed to do? So so I thought I'd just do a faction overview on how I like to run each faction, and just, you know, kind of talk about it. And yeah, if you guys run Jackals and you disagree with the way I run it, or you run it differently, leave a comment down below. We'll get a discussion going on this. I really have a lot of fun playing a melee only Jackal army, unless I put the long neck in there. And don't get me wrong, I tried to get the long neck in melee too, but I will put a gun on the on the long neck. I do, but I like getting it in melee as much as I can too. That model is awesome. If you haven't got the long neck, I really suggest you get it. OPR's model for the long neck is so cool looking. I absolutely love that model. So if you're thinking about getting it, definitely do. They are so cool. So OPR did a great job at designing that model, and I absolutely love it. So anyway, I guess I can leave you with all this today. I just wanted to kind of do an explanation on why I'm not doing the unit reviews anymore. Maybe after the rules update and everything kind of settles down, maybe December, January-ish, we can start up again. Maybe do a few unit reviews here and there. I don't know. We'll just see how everything goes. But anyway, that's the reason why I'm not going to do the unit reviews right now. So we're going to do some other cool stuff instead. So I hope you enjoy what's coming up. And I really do appreciate all of you that have subscribed. I appreciate all of you guys that are making comments and helping each other out. It's really cool. So with that, I guess I'll leave you for the evening. So I hope you have many more happy games ahead of you. I wish the best for you and your family. Take care.